Welcome to Conversations with Sarah. I'm Sarah Reddan of SRTT, and today I'm joined with Viv from Viv McgG to talk about Oracle cards and angels. Welcome, Viv. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
I am really excited to speak to you. If anyone's watching, they'll be able to see behind me. I've got tarot cards and angel cards and all sorts of different cards that I use for my own sort of personal development, and I share within my self-care group. And this is your area of expertise, and I know you've got lots to share. So thank you for coming along and speaking with me. For people that are listening, would you like to give us a little introduction about you and your business and you know, what it is that you do on your day-to-day?
All right. Well, from a day-to-day perspective, at the moment, for the last about 18 months, couple of years, I've been training people. So I create online courses. I use the Udemy platform, and I've been training people in spiritual tools, predominantly angel and oracle cards, because that's what I use. And I teach them how they can use them for their own personal help, and also to take it out to others, because it's so good to shine a positive light in the world. And you can do so with angel and oracle cards. So that's why I teach people that. I also give one-to-one readings. I have clients that I'll read for. Either they maybe come once, or maybe they want a special kind of reading, like a reading about relationship, or reading about the career, about the next 12 months, although I'm not a very time-based kind of reader, to be honest. Yeah. And I also focus on animals and pets, which I can't explain how I do it, because I can only do it whenever I'm doing it. I can explain it a little bit, but when I'm doing the reading for pets, I only know whenever I'm drawing the cards if the message is for the guardian, if it's from the pet, if it's about the pet, or if it's for the pet. So I only pick up on that information. So I can never tell anybody these cards will be, from a message from your pet. Yeah. It can change. I just have to read the energy with that.
It happens as it's happening. Okay, so let's go back to the very beginning, because people that are listening may not know anything about cards. So what are oracle cards, and how are they different from tarot?
I like to think of oracle cards as being the child of tarot, and it's a more simple deck to use. So you've got the tarot card, which has been around for, I don't know, since the 15th, 16th century, maybe earlier than that. And it was first brought in as a game. So it's a storytelling game. So if you look at the tarot cards, you've got your major and your minor arcana, and it's telling a story throughout. But then through time, it became some kind of divination tool. And oracle cards I see as a gentle child of the tarot. The tarot can be very straight hitting. If you need to receive a message, the tarot will not beat about the bush. It will tell you exactly what you need. Whereas the angel and oracle cards, they come from a slightly different angle where they're softer. And the other thing about the difference between them is tarot has got like the 78 cards, and it's very specific. So you have specific meanings for each card. Whereas oracle and angel cards, they can range from 35 cards, 44 cards, higher, depends what the creator wants. And it's not got a specific theme that it has to follow. So for example, if you look at, I have a set of tarot cards here. So there's 78 cards in this, and this is my working deck of oracle cards, which is 44. Yeah. So you can see the difference in the number. And then you've got ones that, for example, I've got a few decks in front of me. I thought it'd be nice to share with people. This one is based on Avalon, the story of Avalon. And it's got a theme about that. Then you've got themes like, this is one of my favorite decks, believe in your own magic. It's just full of cards where it's like normal looking women on the cards, not all these perfect people. So they're oracle cards, I say, are very intuitive. You pick up your own message. I teach according to pulling out symbols and colors. So if you have understandings of some symbols, and it has to be your own personal meaning of symbols, then how you share a message, once you see what colors and symbols are catching your eye, then that lets your intuition flow. If you look at a card and you're panicking and you don't know what you're looking at, your intuition is kind of blocked. So I feel like your intuition is incredibly important. So if you pick out a card and initially you see the color red or a certain tree or a bit of water, you think, oh, I know what those symbols mean. The meaning can be tweaked slightly depending on how you feel, but because you're then passing on a message or receiving the message for yourself, and you've got into a comfort zone where you're not panicking because you're not looking at a card that you don't understand, then you can really let your intuition flow. And we all got intuition. It's a natural born gift. It's just that whenever we were kids, you know, we were told you're not allowed to have that imaginary friend, or, you know, people would wind you up for having a little friend that you could see, which was real, but other people couldn't see it. So we've kind of dampened down our intuition. It's a matter of igniting it again and letting it flow, because whenever you let it flow, when you're working with your angel and oracle cards and with your tarot as well, you know, the information flows and you get a much deeper, much stronger, much personalized image. And the other thing about, particularly about tarot cards, a lot of people, I know I was brought up this way, I've since changed my views. A lot of people think tarot is evil. It's got a bad energy about it. Nothing, no object has a bad energy about it. It's the energy that we project onto it. So tarot decks are not bad.
Yeah.
Just because something's called an angel or an oracle deck doesn't make it any better than a tarot. It's whichever you choose to use. So angel and oracle decks, some people consider them the basics because you don't have to learn. So you just let your intuition flow and then you can move on to the tarot. So it just depends what kind of grabs your attention, what you enjoy.
Yeah. And I like how you describe sort of like the different kind of almost energies behind the cards, because I say that with my cards that I use. I've got some cards that are really quite nurturing, and like they're very, like they give nice gentle messages and a sort of gentle little prompts and kind of very, very supportive. And I've got other decks that are, they're brutal, like they're really quite, like they're really straight down the line. And in my self-care group on Facebook, like I do a tarot Tuesday and we bring in different cards. So we've got my sweary affirmation cards as well that I've created. So there's kind of all these different energies, isn't there? And you really can get hear what you kind of need to hear, but in the space that you need to hear. And I always say to people when they're looking at the decks and they pick, it's like, are you sure you want that one? Because that deck will, like, it's gonna tell you straight, and you might not be ready to hear what it's gonna say, because it's really quite oh, it's a bit brutal. Are you in an okay space for that?
Yeah, that is so true. I also find that if you pull a card, whether it's from tarot or oracle, wherever it's from, and you can't see the message for you in that card, what I often share is that usually it's a message that you are trying to block. And whatever energy you're working with, whether it's loved ones who crossed over, the angels, the divine, your own intuition, whatever energy you're working with to get that message is desperately trying to get that message to you. And that's whenever you want to break it down into the basics so you can pull the message from it. Because if you do look at a card and you don't get that message, it's just that your conscious is saying, don't think I'm ready for this. And yet you need to receive that message. And especially if you use a softer deck, the message is definitely coming from love. You know, it's not going to slap you across the face. Sometimes you need those messages too, because you're just not moving and you need a good slap to get moving. But, you know, always, if you draw a card, always remember there is a message in it for you. You just have to be open to receive that message.
And do you feel like anyone can read cards? I know you touched on it slightly.
Absolutely. It's like everybody's got intuition. Anybody can read cards. With the tarot, I don't do the tarot because there's a lot of learning and I haven't been drawn to the tarot yet. I don't know whether it will happen or whether it won't. I'm open, whatever happens. But with oracle cards, you turn over a card, you see a picture, it's very loving, very gentle. And you just see what pops out in that picture. If you feel you can't read, if you don't know to maybe break down and look for colors and symbols and things like that, which is an easy way to read. If you don't do that, all you need to do is just sit back and close your eyes a little bit and just ask for the guidance. And everybody receives guidance, whatever energy or whatever connection they're connecting to, they will receive the guidance. So it's not like you need any special abilities. There's no secret sauce that you need to take every day to be able to read cards. Absolutely everybody can do it. So, and oracle cards, They're lovely to read, lovely energy, but like any divination tool, they do need reverence and respect because
Yeah.
you are connecting to other energies. And, it's like, would you mistreat and have just playful fun with a friend that's going to be hurtful? No, you wouldn't do that. So you don't do that with your cards. So you still treat them with reverence and respect. That's the only boundary I would say that you need. But apart from that, absolutely anybody and everybody can read cards. It's just a matter of going to a shop or looking online and seeing what you're drawn to. And then just give it a go. And you may buy a deck that you don't feel connected with, and then just get another deck. And then through time, that first deck that you got, maybe you'll eventually connect with it. So you don't necessarily connect immediately with anything. It takes a little bit of time. It's just like some people you meet are an instant friend. Some people you have to get to know a little bit about before you connect. So I treat them like my friends.
Yeah. I think, like, for me, one of my sort of barriers, and this is a running theme if you listen to the podcast, one of my barriers with sort of my relationship with using cards was very much that I felt like I needed to know everything. Like, how can you know everything? Like, there's so much that is just in the moment, or that's where I'm at with it now. It's kind of in the moment, isn't it? As long as you're being curious and respectful of the tool that you're using, you don't need to go in with knowing everything about everything. I don't know. Would you agree with that, or is that?
That is really true. There's a deck I have here called Goddess Stream, which is a beautiful deck. And it's all like goddesses and, from all over the world.
Yeah.
Do I know about goddesses? No. But I can still read those cards because, again, I will go back to how I read cards. So I look at my colors and symbols, and then I let my intuition flow. There's other decks where, there may be about ascended masters. It may be about archangels. It may be about dragons. It may be about unicorns. You don't need to know all that information. You can just read the card. However, if you are interested in that information and you do your research, you'll get even more information because you'll know what an ascended master, what their characteristics were. You'll know what energy a certain dragon or a unicorn will bring. So if you dive a bit deeper into the material, and that's where the guidebook comes in handy. I'm not one for using guidebooks, but if it's on, say, goddesses, and I want to find out about the goddess, I'll read the guidebook to find out what that goddess is about, and you just get that bit more information.
And like you say, I think, like, as you said, when you connect in with a specific deck, then you develop a stronger relationship with it. And I guess more comes on, more comes through. You feel more, or I feel, because that's what I'm thinking about, I feel more capable to interpret what is there in front of me.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in having what I call a working deck. And if I want to really give myself a really good reading, or if I want to read for somebody else, I have one deck that I use, and I will use that for years. I know that deck inside out, but every time I may look at a card, I may still see something different in the card. The same things don't always catch your eye. And even if you go through the cards and you look at all the symbols and look at all the colors, you'll miss something. And you'll turn over a card one day and all of a sudden something new stands out. But because you have such a connection with that deck, because you know the cards so well, you don't panic. You just let your intuition flow and the message will come. So I'm a huge believer, and it's something I think it was Kyle Gray recommended. He's huge into angel and oracle cards. And it was something that he has always done, is use a deck until basically it's falling to bits. You need to know inside out. It's really, I have loads of angel and oracle cards, but, and I give like readings, like a Monday free reading, depending on which deck the angels direct me towards. But if I'm working with a client or if I'm working for myself, I will use my working deck.
Perfect. So how did you actually get into reading the oracle cards?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. As I was growing up as a child, I could always feel spirit energy around me. I was haunted a little bit by the inevitable ghosts. I have had a few experiences from my past. And I was brought up in a pretty religious household, and the two didn't seem to mix. So I kind of, in my teenage years, I turned back on normal everyday religion. So I therefore put my spiritual side, I kind of buried a little hole and stuck it in there. And gradually, as the years have grown, it started to grow a little bit, and I've had nudges. So I used to be, for my sins, I used to be an accountant. And I used to be in corporate finance. And because of health issues, I left, and I wanted to work for myself, start my own business, and basically manage my own stress levels, because working as in finance was really stressful. So I didn't know what to do. And all I knew was I wanted to work with people. So I actually went into another business, and I learned how to make skincare. But I came to a point a number of years later where it just wasn't feeling right for me. It wasn't working. And I got to the stage where I had the choice. Do I make another year's worth of product, or do I give it up? And by that stage, I honestly don't know how oracle cards came into my life. I found them. I had a tarot deck many, many years ago. I don't know where it is now. But I was using and playing with oracle cards, and I was reading for friends who were open to it. And they were saying, well, you're really good at it. You're really natural. And every time I read it, just lit me up. I just enjoyed it so much that I made the decision that, okay, enough of the skincare. It's not working for me. It's not lighting me up. I'm going to do this. And I've been doing it. I actually haven't been doing it that long, probably for maybe 4 years, 5 years or so. So not that long, and then made it more official. So that's kind of how it happened. I fell then into learning from like some of the masters, like Kyle Gray, Colette Baron Reid, all those guys who have created many decks. So I've learned a lot and picked up a lot from them, find my own style, and now obviously teach my own style. But it's just something that felt really natural. So it's not something that I went to seek out. It was something that I had buried. And it was obviously the easiest way to unbury myself. And I feel now a lot more whole as a result of it. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so beautiful, isn't it? When you're kind of just drawn into, I want to use the phrase, it's your soul calling. It's that kind of thing that you're here to do, and eventually you find that peace and that space of doing what it is that, this is what I'm supposed to be sharing with the world and helping people with. And I think it's such a beautiful thing that we get the opportunity to do that, and that we do find it, and we can share these gifts, these knowings, this knowledge, this I don't know what word, just like the beautiful space of that healing comes along with doing these things with other people. I'm really curious, because we talked a little bit before we started recording. We're talking about angels a little bit, weren't we? And I'd love to explore a little bit more, kind of, the difference between the religious connotations and the spiritual connotations of when we use the word angels, because I shared with you that that's sort of a space that I've found uncomfortable in my journey. Like the cards that I have been most disconnected from in my angel deck, because it feels religious, or felt religious. That's changing. So I'd really love to hear your perspective around that, if you'd be happy to share.
For me, how I see things is somebody can be religious and not spiritual. And somebody can be spiritual, but not religious. I'm the latter. I'm spiritual, but I am not religious. I don't want to dive too deep into religious beliefs or anything like that. But for me, I connect with the angels. Whenever you're working with cards, you can connect with your loved ones. You can connect with other spirit guides or animals, or, whoever you feel connected with. But personally, I feel connected with the angels. And it's all really come. I'm going to say something really stupid here.
It's not, I'm sure it's not. So let's not.
I've just gone completely goosebumps. So I connected them with the angels before I came and asked for help with the interview. And I've just gone goosebumps from head to toe. And that is telling me that there's something important is about to be said. So the first time I feel I really connect, because whenever I first read oracle cards, I wasn't connecting to the angels. I didn't know what I was connecting to. I was just reading cards and getting information. And I went for a crystal healing. And during the crystal healing, I'm laughing because I'm getting little jabs on my shoulder, and it's the angels are poking me. During my crystal healing, I met Archangel Raphael. I don't have a good past with regards to health. Like I said, I left corporate because I took Crohn's disease and couldn't deal with the stress. And I'm a mother of two beautiful little bunnies, and one of the bunnies seems to mirror me. So she has digestive issues as well. So Archangel Raphael is the physician, heaven's physician. And when I first met him, he came to me in a kind of a meditation when I was getting this crystal healing. And I was in this field with all these other people, and this one person, he was just a person, came up and put his arm around my shoulder and said, "Right, mucker." Now, I don't use that word mucker, but I know what it is. And the reason, and I knew it was Raphael because I was told then it was him, but he came to me and used that word because it's something I don't use. So I knew I didn't make it up. And it was him stepping forward and saying, you know, I'm here with you. And he is the one I work with the most. Angels have an incredibly gentle energy. We see them in a religious connotation. You see them in churches and chapels and various religious buildings. And sometimes they're not displayed in the most positive light. For me, angels, the divine, whatever word you want to use for the divine, I can't usually say the word God because I'm like you, I have not a positive attitude towards religion. To me, it's a very, very gentle, very loving energy, very forgiving energy. There's no judgment involved. So that's where there's a big difference between religion and spirituality, I think. We're here to shine our light. We're here to do the best we can. We're here to make a difference, a positive difference in our life and in lives of those that are around us. And if we work with positive energies like the angels, it doesn't have to be the angels, but if we work with positive energies like them, we're not pushing our beliefs on anybody. We're not being negative that you've done wrong, so you're going to be judged. That's not what the angels and the divine do. They're not here to judge. They're here to encourage you to do the right thing and to move forward. So it's almost like when you work with them, your vibration, your energy is higher. You look at the world in a better light. You don't let the negativity of the world get into your soul, if you know what I mean. You want to do good in the world. You want to make a positive difference in the world, no matter how small that may be, whether it's to one person or to many. So for me, it's an energy. And like I said, I still have issues with the word God. I still can't.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with me. It's because when you say God and angels, or the people can hear Bible, and it's not, or you know, whatever religious book they put it to. And for me, that's not what I mean when I am connecting with all that is. It's exactly. A different thing.
Yeah, it is the all it is. It is one energy. And we are part of that one energy, our soul, which is our body is in our soul. Our soul is not in our body. Our soul is so much bigger. Is part of that energy. So why would something that is part of us hurt us, judge us, condemn us, send us to hell? I don't believe in any of that. I don't think it's right. And I think it's I think it's disrespectful and a dishonor to the universe and to the creation of everything that is. So yeah, it's a very loving energy. And whenever, I mean, there's times whenever I've wanted to purposely raise my vibration because I've maybe been having a low day or an off day. And one of the easiest things is to put on some music and have a good dance. And whenever I do that, I go pimply all over. And it's the angels are joining me and I feel them and they're having a good old dance with me. Another example is this weekend has been Halloween weekend. And I draw cards every week to give a free reading. And I also have a group and I give readings on a Friday. And the angels have been pulling cards that were like with witches on them and witchy kind of cards. They were having a bit of fun. They were getting a really serious message across, but at the same time, they're having fun. First time I met Archangel Uriel, which is, I call him my sunshine angel. When I did an attunement with him, he came from sliding onto a stage, really sliding on, going, ta-da, I'm here. That's the angels. First time I met my Archangel Michael, he was this huge, gentle giant. Like I said, Archangel Raphael, hey, mucker, how are you, sort of thing. So, you know, they're nothing to be afraid of. There's something to be embraced because they're here to support us and to make us have the most abundant and fabulous life. They're not here to make our life hard. We make our life hard. It's us that create our blocks. It's us that stops abundance and everything coming into our life. It's not the angels. It's not the universe. It's not the creator. they want the best for us. And whenever you work with them and just even meditate and invite them in, it just helps you raise your vibration a little bit. And we want to raise our vibration because we want to raise the vibration of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just sort of digesting. I realized I was just digesting. I wasn't even thinking about like what am I going to say? Because it's really interesting. It's just sort of hearing it in that way and hearing, you know, clearly your connection and your passion and how it lights you up doing this work. I think it's just, I just feel like I'm observing something quite beautiful. So thank you for coming in and sort of sharing kind of how you work and what goes on for you and the way in which you've developed your relationship with your angels. I'm really aware that I think we're kind of at the end of time, and I probably could sit and yeah, it's gone really quick, and I know like I would ask loads more questions, but it probably is a good time to bring it to a close if that feels all right. Now before you do, I wonder, do you feel happy to draw a card for us today?
Sure, I will. I'll just give it a really quick shuffle. It won't have time to jump, so I love jumping cards. I don't know, do you get jumping cards?
Yeah. I mean, if they come out, then you're getting it whether you want it or not.
I love them. They always have a really special message. So the card that we've got today is taking action. I enthusiastically embrace life's boundless possibilities. Taking action. So basically what I would take from that, the angels are saying, after all that we have talked about, where you invite the angels and energies, whatever energy you want to work with, it doesn't have to be the angels, but take action and invite them to walk alongside you, to support you, to make sure that your life is a lot better. But it's us that need to take the action, because there's a universal law of free will. And that states that you have to make your own choices and decisions in life. So you need to decide, do you want to go down the right fork or the left fork? Whenever you connect with any energies at all, you can't ask them, should I, or, you know, will I go down? They will never tell you. Whatever fork you choose to walk, for example, they will support you if you invite them to do so. I'm not telling you you have to have the angels in your life by any means. It can be your grandmother who's crossed over, who's on the other side, and I believe still walking beside you. We just physically can't see them. Take the action to talk to her more often, to connect with her more often. Because if you look at the card, it's a very male energy that's all about taking action. Feminine energy is all about receiving and opening yourself up to receive. But it's saying you need to do the work this time. And the river here, water's all about emotions. And the guy is jumping over this river, which is really easy for him to do. So it's kind of like, you have emotions involved in this that may be stopping you taking action, but look how easy he can jump over those emotions. Just set the emotions aside, give it a go. You know what? It's not going to do you any harm. So just give it a go and just do something, even if it's just meditating and connecting with your grandmother or your spirit guide or animals or whatever. Just take the action, and yeah, you'll reap the reward, and you'll notice the difference in your life.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to leave people listening with today?
All I would say is we're here to create a better world. And it's just a matter of leaving the world in a better shape than we found it, which isn't quite the case at the moment. But whenever you it's not putting on rose-colored spectacles, but it's whenever you look at the world in a more positive light, you're raising your vibration. You've got two vibrations, you've got love and you've got fear. No matter what emotion you may be experiencing, they'll either fall into the bracket of love or they'll fall into the bracket of fear. And where love is a high vibration, fear is a low vibration. So if you let fear into your life, you're not making the world a better place. You're not making your life better. So when you focus on the vibration of love, you're raising things so much higher. You're making this world a better place. When you do things from a place of love, you make choices and decisions that are more beneficial for yourself, for those around you, for the animal kingdom, for Mother Nature as well. And that's what we are being invited to do. Everybody thinks they have a really deep and meaningful life purpose, but I believe that is our life purpose, is to do good, to share love, to be love. and to raise our vibration so we can raise the vibration of the person beside us, because it's like a ripple effect. If you smile at somebody, they smile back, and it makes them feel better.
Yeah.
So it's doing things like that, just changing things and changing your attitude. I mean, I used to be such a down and outer. I used to have such a negative attitude, and I've changed all right. It's taken work, but I've changed it all, and I look at things so much more positively, and my life is so much better as a result.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you've shared with us today. I've really enjoyed speaking with you. And I'm sure that people listening are going to find value in the things that you've shared with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's listened. I hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. To find out more about me or my guest, give us some feedback or suggestions, visit srtt.co.uk or follow on social media platforms at SRTT Podcast. I'll be back next Wednesday with a new guest. Until then, stay curious and be kind to yourself.